Hello and welcome to Maidens of the Spear, where we talk about the Wheel of Time, and we have a really good time.
A really good time.
I'm Sarah Kaplan.
I'm Mary Lou.
That's Mary Lou. And today we have a simple question. Mary Lou, what Ajah are you?
Great question, Sarah. But first I have to know, what is an Ajah?
What is an Ajah? That's a fantastic question. So if you're new to the Wheel of Time, if you are gearing up for the TV show, you're new to the books, or you're just wanting to watch us talk for whatever reason, an Ajah is a society of Aes Sedai. And in the world of the Wheel of Time, Aes Sedai are the women who can do magic. And there are seven
witches.
The Tarvalin witches, as other people might call them. And Aes Sedai are divided into 7 societies, each one named after a color, and each one having a fairly central purpose that guides the lives and decisions of the Aes Sedai in that society. So, for example, you have the Red Ajah, who are the cops. They're the magic cops of Randland, of the world of Wheel of Time. And they've dedicated themselves to tracking down and stopping any dangerous man who can use magic. Because in this world, men who could do magic go insane and inevitably kill everyone around them.
So we need them, right? Job. They're very important. They are tough as nails. They're absolutely feminazis. They're more than a little bit misandrist, and they're the feds. They're the feds, baby.
Yep. And then next we have the Blue Asha. So Mary Lou, tell us about the Blue Asha.
The Blue Asha are like the politicians of the Aes Sedai. They are in everybody's business. They know everything. Whisper Network on lock. Leadership is their big deal. So they're all about either aiding or advising political and royal leaders all around the land. So if the Red Ajah is the FBI, they're the feds, the Blue Ajah is the CIA, right? Pulling the strings behind the scenes, making it happen. And much like that metaphor would suggest, they frickin' hate each other. They hate what each other stands for. Red versus blue, no good. I hate you.
They both see themselves as integral for saving the world, but they have very different strategies for accomplishing that. And, also like the FBI, CIA metaphor might suggest, maybe the world doesn't need their interference.
Yeah, maybe they should have laid off a little bit. Who knows? Who knows? But that's definitely how they have operated in the world of Wheel of Time. So those are our 2 big players. Next, we've got some no less significant, but maybe less featured in the rest of the book. Up top would definitely be Green Ajah, the Battle Ajah.
The Battle Ajah. Also, the Ajah for, you might call them the polyamory Ajah. You might call them the sexy Ajah. These are your women who can do magic and who like to be surrounded by a bunch of men with big swords.
Ooh Literally, Egwene asks Alana, what does it mean to be Green Ajah? And the first thing she says is, well, to be Green Ajah, you must love men.
You must
verbatim, that is what she said.
Exactly. So the Red Ajah, no warders. And let's just take a step back. What's a warder? A warder is a magically empowered soldier boy who gets bonded to an Aes Sedai as her sort of magical bodyguard.
It's a magical bodyguard.
It's a magical bodyguard. Red Ajah,
with some soul stuff in there.
Yeah, there's some magic, but they're not that important. They just prowl around and they have a sword. They ain't making no decisions. This ain't no equal partnership.
No.
They're bodyguards.
Red Ajah, no warders.
No warders.
Green Ajah,
no men.
Multiple warders. As many warders as possible. Do we marry them? Yes. Sometimes. Do we marry more than one? Maybe.
100%. Yeah.
It's hot as hell. Green Ajah, men lovers.
Ajah, just having crazy psychically connected group sex with their magically physically enhanced peak male specimen bodyguards.
Absolutely. Is it hot? Probably. Robert Jordan doesn't
100%.
describe it, but I think about it a lot. Maddie says, but girl warders?
Oh, Maddie, there's a lot to talk about there. There's a lot to talk about there, but we're going to try to keep this video spoiler free, Madeline. So that's a read and find out question.
Locked them zipped. Let it just know that there are no female warders for the in the land. There are none. They don't exist when the series starts, and throughout the series there are no female warders.
Anyway, that's Green Asha. The Battle Asha.
They're not only man lovers, they are dedicated to Tarman Gaidon, right? Tarman Gaidon is the battle for the end of the world against the Dark One. Their Ajah is called the Battle Asha, and they have all these warders, these magical bodyguards, because they see themselves as being at the front line of those battles.
Exactly.
So no politics, no being a cop. These are the friggin', Navy SEALs. This is, Marines, front line. They see themselves as fighters, baby, brawlers. They'll be there on the front line.
When you're hearing a story about an Aes Sedai and her warders going on an adventure, fighting Trollocs and Murdral and all sorts of creatures of the shadow, pretty good chance that's Green Asha, baby. That's Green Asha shit right there.
Definitely. After that, we have everybody's beloved Yellow Ajah.
Yellow Ajah. No complaints about the Yellow Ajah.
No, the Healing Ajah. Dedicated. They're doctors without borders of this land. All they care about is healing. Healing Aes Sedai, healing people everywhere.
Exactly.
That's all. That's their whole thing.
Their whole thing is pushing the limits of what magical healing can do. And that's it.
Seems pretty simple. Gets a little more interesting.
It's a little interesting. I mean, they suffer from the same general flaws of all Aes Sedai, but at least as far as an Ajah and an Ajah's purpose, no complaints. And finally, we have our more scholastic Ajahs. So first we have the Gray Ajah, and the Gray Ajah is, they're far from removed from the world. I mean, they're very active participants in the world. And at the time the book is set, they're possibly the Aes Sedai Ajah that's actually doing the most out in the world. The Gray is the Mediator Ajah. They are the Ajah all about mediation. So
anytime a peace treaty needs to be worked out, anytime there's, heat on borders between two, traditionally antagonistic nations, the Gray Ajah is there, keeping things gray, right?
Exactly.
Keeping things
they're not
chill.
They're not like the Blue Asha. The Blue Asha are very intentional. They have future they want for the world, and they're pulling whatever strings it takes to get to that future from behind the scenes. The Gray Ajah are out there resolving actual political disputes in the day-to-day. And they're fine.
They're fine. We actually, I am pretty sure, never meet or really hear from a Gray Aes Sedai. Like, we might see one named, but we never talk to her. They just literally, they're very functional. They're very useful. They're not very interesting. So we just don't see them in the series almost ever at all.
It's just not their time. I mean, the Gray Ajah was very important for centuries when this was a world of nations and nation states. And the biggest issues of the day were conflict between human nations. But it's the end of the world. You're not going to mediate with the Dark One, so we don't see a lot of them.
No, we're not really talking about like municipal code right now, which is like kind of their thing. So we just kind of don't talk to them. We kind of don't really care about them. It's not that they're not important. They're just not important in our series right now. So anyway, Gray, whatever.
But one Ajah that is very important right now is the Brown Asha.
Love the Brown Asha.
Yeah. And this is the true scholar's Ajah. They're the Aes Sedai, who are frequently described as, while other Aes Sedai are always totally clean and proper and put together, a Brown Aja will wander dazedly into the kitchen at 3 a.m. with an ink splotch on her nose and her shirt buttoned up improperly because she's got her nose buried in some 600-year-old scrap of paper and isn't even aware of where she is.
These are the absent-minded professors of the Aes Sedai world. They are the educated. They are the academics. What they strive for is knowledge, any kind of knowledge, whether it's forbidden knowledge or any kind of knowledge at all. They just want to know stuff. That's what's important to them. Politics, couldn't care less. They usually don't even, they're often portrayed as like having absolutely no idea what's happening in the real world because they're stuck in their literal ivory tower. Right,
exactly. And Brown Aja are important Aja because in this time at the end of the world, when old powers are resurfacing and the old blood is singing and old prophecies are coming to bear, some of that lost ancient knowledge is all of a sudden relevant. And, it's a great thing that there has been this sisterhood of fucking nerds who have been spending the centuries passing it down and copying it and learning it and learning it. And you gotta love the Brown Aja.
Gotta love the Brown Aja.
Brown sisters who are very dear to my heart. But in order to keep this stream spoiler free, we won't talk about them.
We won't talk about it. But gotta love the Brown Aja. They are crucial to this series. And last but not least, we come to the last color, white. The white Aja, which represents pure logic.
Logic, reason, boring for the most part, in my
and
opinion.
Emotionless. What is right? What is wrong? Pure logic. The ethics. Who's that ethics guy? They're that ethics guy.
They're that ethics guy.
I can't think of his name.
What are you talking about?
The guy who taught my practical ethics class in college.
Singer?
Yeah, Peter Singer.
Peter Singer.
Yeah, they're the Peter Singers of the Aes Sedai world.
Maybe. They are the philosophers, the mathematicians, the logicians. And there were a couple important white sisters who play important roles in the series. But as an Aja, they're more of like, they're probably the most removed from the day-to-day workings of the world. And like the Grey Aja, like while they probably played an important role in the world for centuries and centuries after the breaking, when society was in upheaval and knowledge was being lost and knowledge had to be regained and reconsidered. Now at the end of the world, it's like, okay, these philosophers and mathematicians, sure, you're great. I'm going to go talk to the Battle Aja who have all the warders and the combat magic.
For sure. Yeah, this just isn't their time. Nobody's like chill enough to just sit and talk theory, right? It's time to put the pedal to the metal. It's about praxis, not theory, during Tarman Gaidon. So no, we don't really see the white Aja as an Aja, although we do see some white sisters become very important to the story. The white Aja itself is just a little irrelevant.
It's just irrelevant right now. But those are the Ajas. So now the question is, Mary Lou, I know we've got our little Aja tags down here. But
I'm dying to hear what pink Aja is.
But Mary Lou, what Aja are you?
Unfortunately, I would love to be green Aja. And honestly, I think I might change my mind. We'll talk. I'm interested in hearing your own feedback because sometimes we don't know ourselves as well as we think, as others might. I would love to say I'm green Aja or brown. I think you could argue that I'm also brown because I love to read and I love knowledge and education. But I think I'm blue because I can't help but be really bossy. Okay. I love to be, dad of my group. Megan just said she's Black
That's
Ajah.
Maddie. No, there's no such thing. Get out of here.
Black
with
Ajah
that.
doesn't exist.
Black
We never
Ajah
say those words
does
again.
not
Not in
exist.
these halls.
That is disgusting slander.
Blasphemy.
There is no Black Asha.
Blasphemy against the White Tower. Not
Anyway,
in these halls.
Mary Lou, you were saying?
Black Asha doesn't exist. We will talk about Black Asha at the end, but nobody's Black Asha.
But they don't
especially
exist.
not you.
No, they don't
Maddie.
exist. We're not going to talk about it. Why would we talk about something that doesn't exist?
Why would we talk about something that doesn't exist? Anyway, I think I'm blue because I can't help but be dad of my friend groups. Like I like to get the check. I like to, have my voice heard. I can't help but pipe up. Truly, can't help it. Can't help but pipe up. That's my classic move. But I could be green because I love men and I love attention. And that's something that's really important to me. I'm not sure the Blue Asha captures as much of how much I love attention.
Yeah, I don't see you as a behind the scenes actor.
They're very much behind the scenes, but they're also politicians, right? So they are leaders. They get attention from other Aes Sedai, right?
Right.
Maybe not from the world at large, but they are a bit of they've had the last 3 Amerlin seats. Most Amerlin seats have come from the Blue Asha. So I think that's where I would finally end up. Though I like to think of myself as green. I don't think green gets as much attention as I would want, or doesn't get as much power and effect. That I'd want, and then the Brown Asha doesn't get as much attention. So that's why I think I'm blue, although I think it would be really close between blue and green.
Yeah.
What Ajah are you, Sarah? It says you're pink Ajah, and I do not know what that means.
Well, it's not a real Ajah, Mary Lou.
Oh, but that's right.
I think you would like the pink Ajah, because I think there's a crucial function missing in the structure of the Ajahs.
I cannot wait to hear what you're going to say.
The pink Ajah is the entertainer Ajah. This is the Ajah.
The Gleeman Ajah?
This is the Gleeman Ajah.
This is the propaganda wing?
Well, I see it more as they could do magic. You know how like Damane are famous for their light show?
Yeah.
Well, why aren't there goddamn free Aes Sedai wandering the world, putting on incredible displays of magic and illusion and storytelling and wonder, and maybe doing a little musical number with their warder? And that's what I would want to do if I were an Aes Sedai. I would want to travel the world to sold out crowds. Just
that would be
freaking magic shows.
Positive, right? Like, positive cultural capital.
That's what they're missing, because that's what the Aes Sedai have failed to do in the centuries since the breaking. Is they've got no goddamn brand. People hate no brand. The Aes Sedai.
They have fear and begrudging respect from people, but they do not have love, and they do not have this sort of like appreciation and devotion. They're mostly like resented and feared by the masses.
Imagine if the Aes Sedai had this 8th Ajah for the past few centuries, where instead of just being holed up in their white tower or only interacting with the world at the highest levels of power and politics, you had a sisterhood, a troupe of magical performers going small town to small town, a la Gandalf at the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring, just putting on shows, building those good vibes and that trust with the common folk.
The community outreach Ajah.
The community outreach Ajah. Yes, exactly. And wouldn't it have been so much easier for a community outreach pink Ajah sister to go into Emond's Field at the beginning of the Eye of the World and, do what they had to do without spoiling it? Anyway, that's the Ajah I wish existed and that I would want to have been in. But if we're only limiting ourselves to the Ajah that exist, I have worked in a city council office, so there's a decent risk I would be gray Ajah, not during the end times. But during the end times, I'd like to think I would be green Ajah.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of a coward. And I don't think I'd want to be like in combat. So I would probably go full yellow Ajah and be a support class.
You don't think you'd be
just
white?
there.
Hello, philosophy major?
I just maybe no.
We have philosophical discussions about whether God exists for fun.
Okay.
That you start.
But I'm talking about what's useful at the end of the world.
Well, okay,
Like,
but we
white
probably
Ajah,
would have joined our Ajahs before Tarman Gaidan.
All Ajahs do something useful and bring something to the table, and I enjoy what the white Ajah does, but I think the yellow Ajah provides a much more important service to the world, even outside of the end times. Like, I'd rather be going around healing folk and then asking them if they believe in God, than just sitting talking to other Aes Sedai about it.
Okay, sorry, my computer is going a little insane. That's because my kitten has woken up from her nap and she was sleeping on my keyboard.
Princess.
This is Princess. She 100% would be probably Red Ajah, honestly.
She'd be Red Ajah.
Yeah, I think so.
And then Fat Boy, of course, would be your warder,
Brown?
I guess, not Princess's warder.
Yeah, no.
Fat Boy is not Brown Asha. Fat Boy. Fat Boy.
He's dedicated to the knowledge of the inside of his own friggin' eyeballs. He's dedicated to the knowledge of the wind whistling through his ears.
Yeah.
He's a head empty, no thoughts kind of guy. Yeah, maybe he's a warder.
No, he's a warder for sure.
He's a warder for sure. He's Princess's warder because she has him whipped.
Well, she can't be Red Ajah and have a warder, Mary Lou.
Okay, maybe she's
blue.
Maybe she's blue. Yeah, she is really interested in manipulating me into giving her pets and treats, and she's good at it.
So, thank you so much for watching, and we would love to know what Ajah are you and why? Red, blue, green, yellow, gray, brown, white, maybe pink.
Pink.
Would you join the pink Ajah?
Definitely not black because it doesn't exist.
Definitely not black because there's no such thing as the black Ajah. And if there's another Ajah that you would love to see that you think is missing and that you would like to be a part of, tell us in the descriptions. Maybe the magenta Ajah or the mauve Ajah, the taupe Ajah.
Gold Ajah. I could argue that the pink Ajah should be gold Ajah.
The gold Ajah. I just want to wear flashy pink robes as I roll into town.
True.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Sundays at 4.
Sundays at 4, we play D&D on Maidens of the Spear on Twitch. And we talk about the Wheel of Time, some other soon-to-be decided regular date of the week. Mm-hmm. And we post videos on YouTube. Feel free to watch them. We're going to have full gameplay footage, and we're going to have discussions of the Wheel of Time leading up to the release of the TV show. And once the TV show comes out, we will be doing episode recaps immediately after they air live on Twitch. So be on the lookout for those.
It's going to be amazing. We talk Wheel of Time, and we have a Wheel of Time.
We're working on a little Wheel of Time tabletop role-playing game where you play as Aes Sedai. So this question of what Ajah are you? And it might be very important.
Very important.
But until next time, this has been Maidens of the Spear, talking Wheel of Time, having a wheelie good time, and we love you very much. Bye.